Following President Lincoln's election, leaders of South Carolina met on Christmas Eve, 1860, to adopt Articles of Secession. Within 6 weeks, 6 more states had joined them, and they formed the Confederate States of America. Confederate President Jefferson Davis demanded the immediate surrender of all federal troops stationed in Southern territory. Instead, Union Major Robert Anderson garrisoned himself inside Fort Sumter and awaited reinforcements. Meanwhile, the Confederacy decided to act. On April 12, 1861, they attacked the fort, leading to Anderson's surrender. Southern hopes were high that their sovereignty would be respected. Even when President Lincoln called for 75,000 volunteers to crush the rebellion, both sides expected that the dispute would be quickly resolved in their favor. They were wrong. What unfolded over the next 4 years was the deadliest war in American history, taking the lives of as many as 750,000 soldiers. Of course, we know how the war ended. The Union won, the Confederacy was destroyed, and slavery was abolished. I hope I didn't spoil that for any of you. But why did it take so long and have such high costs? Because despite what some people believe, the North didn't have all the advantages. A simple bulleted list might make it look like they did, yet for just about every factor in their favor, there was a big but. For example, the North had twice as many men, but most able-bodied men were conscripted in the South, leveling the size of the armies. So how did the U.S. finally win? That's a long story that will take several lessons to discuss. For now, let's start by looking at what each side had going for them. The North had the numbers. Period. When it came down to men of fighting age, the Union had the edge by about 2 to 1. But like I just said, a lot more Southern men were willing or even excited to fight. The North also had greater industrial capacity. In war, this meant more and better weapons like cannon. In fact, in 1860, Northern factories made 97% of the nation's firearms. The combined factors of manpower and weaponry might seem to imply that the Union's infantry would dominate the battlefield. But the Confederacy immediately ramped up manufacturing and established foundries that used repurposed bronze from things like church and plantation bells. And like the American revolutionaries a century before, they discovered their own strength. Before the war, many Southerners knew how to hunt and ride a horse. So the Confederacy developed a skilled cavalry with good aim that could run circles around the Union's big, slow infantry, and they could evade and sabotage the North's powerful artillery. All of the U.S. Navy remained in federal hands, and they instituted a blockade of the South shortly after the war started. The blockade certainly cut off their income stream from cotton exports, but the Confederacy didn't need to import much for survival. Their agricultural economy kept the army fed, at least for a little while, and blockade runners managed to supply enough of the necessary foreign goods to keep them fighting for at least 4 years. A bigger problem for the South was